Hi, welcome to the Fit and Free Show with me. I'm ZGALA, the Art Angel. You can call me Auntie Angel if you like. And it's a bright, bushy-tailed, bright-eyed kind of day. Bushy-eyed and bright-tailed, that's what I meant to say. Still silly, still singing my life a little bit, and gonna do just a quick body stretch, body check. Thought I'd invite you to join me to whatever degree feels right in your body. Remember to listen to your own body. This is really about getting to know yourself a little better, letting your own body know that you care, that you're listening, that you're there for it. I'm here for it. Let's get to it. If you've been here before, then you'll know I like to do some just freestyle, winging it. I often start like this with a little swinging the arms around, exhaling, just letting go of the past like it was yesterday. Maybe practice a little swaying. And I've got my kind of funky older boots on that I hadn't pulled out in a while because I'm going to go help my mom out today, and I got to crawl under her house, and I didn't want to get my black boots all dusty. I don't know. I don't know why I don't seem to care about my new jeans and sweatshirt, but or why I thought you might want me to share that with you, because yeah. Anyway, let's just chalk it up to silliness. Let all that go and roll down nice and slow. Just checking in with the spine, noticing where there's suppleness, where there's stickiness. I've been kind of checked out of my body more than usual, more than I like recently. I'm not sure why I'm feeling that kind of fuzzy, a little bit of like fuzz or fog or something. Just relax into that forward fold for a couple breaths. You let the head and neck go, let the arms go. Relax in the belly, relax in the back. Try not to lock the knees, but relatively straight in the legs. I'm going to bend the knees now and roll those hands back, come into a counter stretch. Maybe breathing in, pushing the hips forward. Yep, still just noticing that little bit of congestion in me. I'm going to take a nice breath in and then swan dive to a half fold. Hitting my wall here, so I'll just modify. That's how we do. Coming into that half fold and checking in there. I could see I was pushed back, so I'm going to just try to check in with the alignment. Take another breath in. And forward fold into the full forward fold again. Relax in the belly, relax in the back. Letting go of the head and neck, letting go of the hands. This time I'm going to bend the knees and come into a squat. And just give myself a nice hug around the knees. Feels good. Getting small in a little ball. And then straightening the legs. Coming back into that forward fold. And I'm going to roll up this time. Just checking in with the spine. Nice and slow. Still just feeling into it. Noticing, feeling. Not to judge. Just to notice. Like in a curious way. Do a little more. I'm also just trying to follow my own body's lead and see how it wants to move. It's a practice I try to do regularly, and I highly encourage, because you might be surprised if you really just let your body lead and try to feel into that. I'm wearing a shirt that wants to ride up. It's nice and soft and cozy under here, but then it goes places, especially when I'm stretching like this. I'm going to do just a little bit of a step back into a warrior pose, moderate lunge, pulling these hips onto the perpendicular line so they are relatively perpendicular to these parallel feet. And checking that I can still see those front toes past this front knee. Just kind of feeling into that. Feeling for this nice, long, straight, strong line through the core of the body. Pulling those hips. That's really where the work is in pulling the back hip forward and the forward hip back, and then pushing into that back heel, at least for me. And I'm going to keep sliding that back heel out as I come into a deeper lunge. And bring both hands down on either side of that front foot. Just enjoying that lunge. And then I'll pull that back foot forward just a little bit. Put it on my carpet so it doesn't slide. And continuing to pull those hips onto that perpendicular line. Straightening the front leg now. Aiming the chin for the toes. In a nice forward fold. Extend it over one leg. Nice exhale. I'm going to bring weight onto the hands and bring this foot back and push into Adho Mukha Asana or downward facing dog or tent pose, whatever you like to call it. Pushing down in the heels, pushing back in the hips, pushing down with the chest. Relaxing the belly helps get me further into that. I like to imagine a nice straight line from the fingertips through the spine, out the tailbone, tipping the tailbone just a little bit toward the back of the head. And then swinging forward, let's come through a plank position, maybe halting there for a few. I've been really slacking on those due to some arm stuff, but I don't want to give up on it completely. And then coming into what's called upward facing dog. So not all the way into a cobra, although that's an option too, but keeping the legs off. Can't quite see there in the camera, but keeping myself raised off the floor. Try not to collapse in those shoulders and lifting the chest. Stretching through the belly. And then coming back into downward facing dog. Pressing back into the heels, pressing the hips back toward the wall behind, pressing the heart and the chest toward the center of the earth. The head is in between the elbows, palms are wide. Relaxing the belly, tipping that tailbone just a little bit to increase that back. Stretch. And I'm going to step forward with that left foot, the same one I stepped back with first. Bring that in between the hands into a nice deep lunge on the other side. And then I'm going to step forward with this back foot, coming into a forward fold. And again, just hanging here and kind of noticing how I feel just a little more flexible, just a little more supple, just a little more balanced, maybe. And bending the knees, I'm going to come into that counter stretch again. And again, just noticing, maybe feeling a little more supple. Looking up at these fingertips, if that feels comfortable. And coming back to Tadasana or mountain pose. Just straight up. I like to imagine I'm being held in gentle traction between the center of the earth somewhere, through my spine and out into the cosmos or the universe or the solar system somewhere. And checking in with the alignment, not locking the knees, but straight legs, hips over ankles, ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. A little bit long in the back of the neck here, pushing the chin back for a nice straight, strong line. And I'm going to step back on the other side, beginning on the right, stepping back into that moderate lunge, and again, pulling the hips onto that perpendicular line, so pulling the front hip back a little bit and the back hip forward a little bit, looking for that perpendicular line through the hips, and pushing into that back heel. Feet are relatively parallel, adjusting as needed. Sometimes that back foot wants to sit at a 45-degree angle instead of straight forward, and that's perfectly fine. You really want to be, you know, feeling strong and balanced and stable in this warrior pose. There are many variations of warrior pose, and this is not a formal yoga lesson, even though I did recently get my level 1 certification, giving myself a little pat on the back there. Any case, really this is what I would call strengthening and lengthening, because I really, I prefer more of a freestyle style in my own life. How about you? What do you prefer? I know a lot of people prefer a lot more structure than I tend to prefer, and I see the benefit of that. I could use probably more structure. I'm just resistant to it. So I impose it on myself, sliding that foot out, coming into a deeper lunge. You just got to do whatever works for you, I think I'm finding in life over and over again. Coming into this deep lunge and pushing into that back heel. And then I'm going to pull that front foot forward, or that back foot forward rather, and straighten that front leg a little bit as much as possible, aiming the chin for the toes, lengthening the upper body over the lower body, and still pulling those hips onto that perpendicular line is where that internal work is the most. Draping the upper body over the lower body, lengthening as much as possible. And then bringing weight onto the hands. And again, I'm going to bring that front foot toward the back foot and press into Adho Mukha Asana, or downward facing dog. Pressing down in the heels, pressing back in the hips. Pressing the heart toward the center of the earth. And coming through either a chaturanga or a plank. Let's just pause there in that plank. Do just a little bit of strengthening. We'll do like 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And letting the hips lower a little bit, lifting the chest and the eyes, pressing through the palms, stretching through the front of the body, squeezing the glutes together if you need to, or if that feels good. That's a good way to protect the low back. And then I'm going to lift the hips again, pushing into downward facing dog, pressing the heels down, relaxing the belly, looking for that nice long strong line from the fingertips through the spine, out the tailbone. And I'm going to swing that right foot forward, the one that I stepped back with a little bit ago. Coming into that deep lunge again on the other side, pushing into that back heel. And weight is distributed on all 4 limbs right now, pretty much. A little bit on each of the hands, a little bit on each foot, at least for me. Enjoying that nice deep lunge a little bit before stepping forward, back into that forward fold. Letting go of the head and neck one more time. Let's just roll up. Again, noticing how things have changed, even just in a few minutes of stretching. For me, it's pretty profound how much better I can feel. Let's come into that counter stretch. Just a quick checking in with the body, a little reminder that I'm here for it, that I am going to be routinely listening to the body. The more I do that routinely, the better the body responds to that. So I thank you for stopping by. I thank you for being you and letting me be me. I hope you will like and subscribe, because that does help me out. I also, above and beyond all else, hope that you will remember that you are worthy of your own unconditional love, exactly as you are, always, in all ways. And also, you can do more than you think, and probably more than you're already doing. So I'm here hopefully to inspire you by way of me doing my best to push into my best self, and inviting you to join me in that endeavor, because we're all in this together. It's almost my birthday, so in typical human fashion, as we finish up a revolution around the sun, I'm doing lots of reflecting. And, you know, I've had this podcast, the Authentic Action Podcast, up since 2019, I believe I started it. And then the pandemic lockdowns happened, and I sputtered and stuttered. And then last year I finally got it going again. And this year I'm really looking forward to diving more fully into the newest iteration of what I had set off to do before. So hopefully I'll be doing some interviews and diving into more health-related, wellness-related topics of basically how can we get more fit and be more free. Stay curious, stay courageous, and I'll be seeing you soon. Ciao for now.